Good morning. The City of Boston Zoning Board of Appeal hearing for February 3rd, 2026 is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the updated provisions enacted by the legislature this year. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual hearings through June 2027. This hearing of the board is being held remotely via the Zoom webinar event platform and is also being live streamed. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to this hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. Board members, applicants, and their attorneys or representatives will participate in the hearing as panelists, and they will appear alongside the presentation materials when speaking. Panelists are strongly encouraged to keep video on while presenting to the board. As with our in-person meetings, comments in support will be followed by comments in opposition. The order of comments is as follows: elected officials, representatives of elected officials, and members of the public. The chair may limit the number of people called upon to offer a comment and the time for commenting as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public who are most impacted by a project, that is, those individuals who live closest to the project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise hand button along the bottom of your screen in the Zoom webinar platform. Click it again and your hand should go down. When the host sees your hand, you will receive a request to unmute yourself. Select yes and you should be able to talk. If you are connected to the hearing by telephone, please press *9 to raise and lower your hand. You must press *6 to unmute yourself after you receive the request from the host. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first, and then provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Stembridge reads the address into the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant address is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. We ask that you keep your comments brief, and all public testimony will be limited to 90 seconds per speaker. Mr. Stembridge. You're on mute, Mr. Stembridge.
Okay, let's try this again. Good morning, Madam Chair, present.
Good morning. Mr. Valencia.
Good morning, Madam Chair, present.
Good morning. Mr. Langham. Is Mr. Langham with us? Okay, I don't see Mr. Langham, so I'll keep going. Ms. Better-Braza.
Good morning, Madam Chair, present.
Good morning. Ms. Wewell.
Good morning, Madam Chair, present.
Good morning. Mr. Brunel.
Good morning, Madam Chair, present.
Good morning. So last call for Mr. Langham. Okay, so if someone could perhaps reach out to him to see if he's joining us, that would be fantastic. In the meantime, we are a 6-member board, and I will turn it over to Mr. Stembridge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll begin today's hearings with the call for approval of the hearing minutes scheduled for 9:30 a.m. These hearing minutes are from January 22nd and January 27th of this year. I'll make a motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stembridge.
Yeah.
Mr. Valencia.
Yes.
Ms. Better-Braza.
Yes.
Ms. Wewell.
Yes.
Mr. Brunel.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
We'll next go to the extensions scheduled for 9:30 a.m. Madam Chair, the first case, we have one of our board members who will recuse themselves. I'll read the case in. They can recuse themselves at that point. We'll vote on that one and by itself, and then we'll go through the rest of them. So first we have case BOA 1536698 with the address of 1208C VFW Parkway.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have to recuse myself from this case.
Okay, thank you. So we are, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, I think I should recuse myself from this one too.
Okay, well, if you're both recusing yourself, Caroline, we don't have a quorum for that one. So let's move on. Does that make sense, Caroline? And see if Mr. Langham joins us later?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Okay, Stephanie, thank you, sorry.
No.
Okay, so we will defer that one for now and read the rest of the extensions.
So with that, we'll move on to case BOA 907-493 with the address of 1 to 5 Boardman Street. Next, we have case BOA 117-1660 with the address of 970 Saratoga Street. Next, we have case BOA 150-9717 with the address of 970 Saratoga Street. Next, we have case BOA 140-9103 with the address of 9 Keyswick Street. And finally, we have case BOA 153-9718 with the address of 1270 Commonwealth Avenue. Madam Chair, those are the rest of the extensions.
Okay, any questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion to grant the extensions as requested.
Is there a second?
Second.
I had a comment on one of these.
Mr. Stembridge?
Yes.
No.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Mr. Langham? Ms. Better-Brazzo?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Wewell?
Yes.
Mr. Burnell?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
So at this point, Madam Chair, continue on and come back to that one extension later.
Well, I don't think Mr. Langham has joined us, so that would make us a 4-member board, which means we cannot vote on it. So I think we will keep going and see if he joins us. Other than that, we'd have to defer that one, which we still can't have a vote for, so let's keep going for now.
Sounds good, Madam Chair. Next, we move on to board final operative case scheduled for 9:30 a.m. This is case BOA 134-5655, the address of 11 Spring Garden Street. If the applicant and/or their representative present, will they please explain the case to the board?
Great. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Kevin Cloutier with an address of 1990 Center Street in West Roxbury. I'm an attorney. I represent the property owner and applicant, Mr. Chow Nguyen. I am joined by the project manager, Gavin Driscoll from Lighthouse Architecture. What we're asking this board to do today in its capacity as final arbiter is to approve a de minimis 10-inch height adjustment to the project. The project originally approved called for the demolition of an existing single-family home and the erection of a 4-story, 2-family dwelling, and those stories include the first story is a garage. The total height of that approved project was 37 feet. We're asking to go to 37 feet 10 inches. This adjustment arose as we transitioned into the construction documents and then the planning department to review, and was recommended by the structural engineer in order to properly accommodate the floor assembly systems beginning in the garage floor. This issue was raised with the planning department during the design review phase, and the planning department had indicated it would approve the plan subject, of course, to this board's approval. And we'd suggest to the board that the request does not alter the project's use, the project's footprint, or the neighborhood impact, and remains consistent with the board's original approval. So I would just ask the board to allow this de minimis increase Of course, if the board has questions, I'd be happy to answer them or defer over to Mr. Driscoll if it's design related.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
There a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Bettabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Wewell?
Yes.
Mr. Brunel?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to the hearing scheduled for 9:30 a.m. At this time, we'll ask if there are any requests for withdrawals or deferrals from 9:30. Hearing none.
I think Mr. Springer has his hand up.
Yeah, I think Marcus, this is your opportunity to.
Yes, hello, Madam Chair. Marcus Springer, Springer Architects, 46 Waltham Street, Boston. We would like to defer our case, BOA 1760013.
Mr. Stenbridge, we'll read it into the record. Can you just say what address it is?
110 West Concord Street.
Thank you.
That, I believe, is an 11:30 case.
Yeah, I don't see that. Okay, so you cannot ask us for that extension until we call for 11:30. So please
Okay.
stay with us.
Thank you.
If there are no other requests or no requests for the withdrawals or deferrals of 9:30, then we'll go to the first case, which is case BOA 1807132 with the address of 137 Cottage Street. If the applicant and or their representative are present, will they please explain the case to the board?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stenbridge. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Richard Lins, the business address at 245 Sumner Street. On behalf of the petitioner, Mr. Nick DeLibero, who's with us. We also have Chris Drew from 686 Architects for this project. I'll start just quickly, Madam Chair, to get the housekeeping matters out of the way. This is subject to Article 32 GCOD. We do have the no harm letter as well as the Boston Water and Sewer letter on file. So I believe that in this particular case, a conditional use permit is appropriate for GCOD. With respect to the proposal, this involves the change of use and occupancy of an existing 3-unit residential dwelling. It is located in the Jeffreys Point section of East Boston. Our proposal would change the occupancy from the 3 units to 4 units with a vertical addition. As the ambassador is showing some of the context slides, you can see that the building is part of a series of buildings along Cottage Street and again, the Jeffreys Point section of East Boston. Maybe jump down to slide 12, Mr. Ambassador, so we can talk a little about the dimensional relief. There are a few items that we do require, even though this is a pre-existing building, we do require relief for a few items, and I'll just run through those briefly for the board. This property is located in the relatively newer established EBR4 zoning subdistrict. Multifamily use is permitted as a matter of right, and therefore our proposed use is compliant with Article 53. I would also point out that the vertical addition that is proposed is consistent in both height and stories for the amended zoning for this section of East Boston. The relief we do require starts with the dimensional requirements for rear yard setback. As this board is likely well aware at this point, the minimum setback in the rear yard in the EBR4 district is 1/3 of the lot depth. Because this is an 80-foot deep lot, we are eligible for the shallow lot exception, and therefore the actual setback would be 16.4 feet with the calculation to reduce the minimum rear setback to be compliant with the shallow lot exception. As you can see on the plan here, maybe a little difficult, but we're about 17.2 feet with our building to the rear property line. There is a shed that does encroach onto our property. We've authorized that shed to remain If it is ever removed in the future, it won't be put back in that location, but that is a pre-existing condition, Madam Chair. One of the changes that we do propose, and we'll see this in the elevation plans in a moment, we do have a rear stairwell that we are reorienting from the back of the property. While that isn't an extension of the physical building itself, it does come within the setback that is already a non-conforming condition. We believe that the variance that we're requesting is the minimal variance to allow for that change, and we believe it would be appropriate in light of the scale and surrounding context of other properties. With respect to the additional violation that was cited, we were cited for off-street parking. Again, as this board is aware, a pre-existing building such as a 3-unit building as this that doesn't have any parking is not required to meet any of the parking requirements except for any proposed new residential dwelling units. In this case, because we are proposing one additional residential dwelling unit, we are requesting relief for the one space that would be required. As this board can see, the inability to add off-street parking is obvious. We have no location on the site to add off-street parking or access the rear of the property from any driveway. Moreover, I'm sure, again, as this board is well aware, BTD's policy on creating curb cuts for one single off-street parking space is not necessarily favored, and therefore we're requesting relief for that particular item. If you can jump to slide 13, please. Two of the other violations, and these are more technical violations that we were cited for based upon the existing conditions of the property. Under amended zoning for East Boston, there's a maximum building lot coverage of 60%. Because this building is pre-existing and already occupies more than 60% of the lot, any modification of the building would trigger a compliance requirement with the maximum coverage. And in this case, we are seeking relief for the pre-existing condition that is intended to continue. Likewise, we would also be subject to the minimum permeable area requirements, which is 30% in this particular district. We do sketch here the location of the area that would be able to be permeable. One of the things I will point out is that even though the pre-existing condition is not at 30% permeability, the renovations to this building could certainly increase the current permeability to get us closer to 30%, which would be an improved condition overall, which I think is the intent of the code in this instance. If we can jump down to slide 16. So we're really not proposing any work on the lower floors. This, Madam Chair, members of the board, shows the extent of the addition that is proposed for the 4th level. As you can see, we do access our roof deck. The roof deck is pushed towards the rear of the building and therefore barely visible from the street. And we do access it from that rear deck, as you can see in the proposed plan here. If we hit the next slide, please. We have some renderings just to give the context of what this addition would look like. Certainly, based upon past experience, we believe this would be subject to design review.
Can you please, thank you.
Sorry. By the Boston Planning Department, so we fully anticipate that there would be some tweaks or adjustments to the design, but we wanted to at least illustrate, not only for the neighborhood, but for the board, the extent of the addition. You can jump to the next slide, please. Again, just an additional view here, and we do set that upper addition back a little bit from the existing cornice line that is pretty much consistent along that side of Cottage Street. I will pause there, Madam Chair, to see if there are any questions of the board or address any comments.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
I don't have any questions, just more of observations for my colleagues, which is within that block, it seems like this would be the first kind of roof deck proposal and also rear addition, kind of vertical stairwell with a special kind of access to the roof. Just kind of observations. Thanks.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Regarding 137 Cottage Street, our office defers to the board's judgment. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on 10/14/25 that was lightly attended by the East Boston community. There were no major concerns expressed. The proposal was also reviewed by the Grove Street Neighborhood Association at their meeting on 10/27/25, where they expressed support with a vote of 4 yes to 2 no. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this matter. Thank you, everyone, for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Simonelli?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Christian Simonelli, Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both G-card letters from the applicant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Okay. Anything the applicant like to add?
Just that I did review the recommendation from planning, and I believe it was approval with proviso for design review. And I certainly understand Ms. Better-Braz's comments, but I believe that the rezoning of this particular neighborhood into EDR4 contemplated vertical additions on existing housing stock for that area, especially with the 50-foot height limit that's being proposed, or that's allowed for that district. We're certainly below that, but just to give some context to the board as well about the new zoning for that area.
Thank you. With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion. I do agree with Richard in regards to increased density. The motion is going to be approval with a proviso that BPD reviews the fourth floor addition relative to visibility from the public sidewalk, and paying special attention to the materiality of that fourth floor addition, and to also review just the rear access.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stembridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Mr. Langham?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Better-Baraza?
Yes.
Ms. Week?
Yes.
Mr. Brunel?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
And we just confirm we are now a 7-member board.
Next, we have case BOA 1807597 with the address of 295 to 297 Franklin Street. This is also an Article 80 case. If the applicant and/or the representative are present, will they please explain the case to the board?
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Stembridge, and good morning again, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, Richard Lins with the business address of 245 Sumner Street, East Boston, on behalf of the petitioner Franklin Holdings Group LLC. With me is John Williams, DMS, who is the project architect. Mr. Ambassador, we can jump to slide 5. Just real quick overview for the board. This is a proposal for an office to residential conversion of an existing 5-story building located at 295 and 297 Franklin Street, downtown Boston. This proposed conversion consists of the reuse of the pre-existing 5-story building. This is presently occupied as commercial space with offices on the upper levels. We are proposing to change the occupancy to ground floor retail, about 750 square feet, 18 residential units. That would be on floors 1 through 5, and that would include a mix of studio and 1-bedroom units. 3 of those units would be restricted under Article 79, the inclusionary development policy for the city of Boston, and they would all be at a AMI of 60%, consistent with Article 79. We do require relief in the form of a conditional use permit. That is necessary because we do propose to have 2 residential uses on the ground level. While the retail use will be forward facing onto Franklin Street, the zoning code requires a conditional use permit for any ground level residential. If you can jump down to slide 8, please. Good head-on view here. So just by way of very brief background for this building, Madam Chair, members of the board, the 295-297 Franklin is a historically significant structure. It's now known as the Bowker Building. This is located within the National Register Custom House District. It was originally constructed around 1870. It was originally a 4.5-story Queen Anne with a 4-bay structure. The intention is to preserve the existing structure, as you can see on the plans that have been submitted to the board. There will be generally just work that is done interior, very little work on the exterior of this building. It has been substantially rehabilitated already since the probably early 1980s, including the addition of that fifth level in the rear to make this a full 5-story building. If you can jump to slide 9, please. As Mr. Stembridge indicated, this is subject to Article 80 based upon the size of the project as well as going through the office to residential conversion program. It has been approved by the Boston Planning Department. I do believe our project manager is available to speak on that matter. And it has already entered into the payment in lieu of taxes agreement with the City of Boston and is certainly ready to begin construction once a permit is ready to issue. If you can jump to slide 11, please. Just showing our site plan for reference. As you can see here, this is a roughly 2,400 square foot lot with the existing gross floor area of about 14,580 square feet. We are, if you go to the next slide, please, we are proposing to use the existing basement that will house the bike storage for the building, as well as other building amenities and services. If we go to the next slide, please. We can see here the ground level showing the, again, forward-facing retail at the front of the building with the 2 proposed residential units located behind the retail. We do make a very slight modification to the exterior for accessibility, and that is proposed to be consistent with the requirements to allow for persons with disabilities to access the building based upon the change of use. If we can jump to the next slide, please. As we move up the building, we show approximately 4 units per level as you get up from floors 2 through 5. Pretty much the floor plans repeat as we go through. You can probably jump forward, Mr. Ambassador. And then we can get to the elevations, which I believe is the next page as well. So again, we don't propose a lot of exterior changes to the building. We will be, in large part, preserving just the exterior as it sits today. The modifications do include the access through the front door, as well as a few window openings that would be incorporated into the elevations. All of this has been reviewed in conjunction with the Boston Planning Department in connection with our approval by the BPDA board. I will pause there and answer any questions of the board, but once again, the relief that is being sought is limited to just a conditional use permit for the ground level residential that is proposed in this district.
Thank you. Questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Regarding 295 to 297 Franklin Street, our office defers to the board's judgment. A community process was conducted with the Boston Planning Department for this proposal, beginning on 4/7/25 with the meeting on 5/21/25, where no major concerns were expressed. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this proposal. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Next, we have Gabriela. Gabriela, we cannot hear you. If not, next we have Zoe.
Good morning. This is Zoe Duvall. I'm a project manager in the Development Review Division of the Planning Department. Just here to express Planning Department support of the project. This project did file their small project review application with us as an Article 80 small project under the Office to Residential Conversion Program on April 7, 2025. The Planning Department hosted a virtual public meeting for the project on May 21st, and the project team conducted independent community outreach as well. The project was approved by the BPDA board on June 12, 2025, and we're happy to see the project move forward and progress to the design review phase of Article 80 and defer to this board for further action.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I think there are additional comments.
Okay, with that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion of approval for the project to continue planning review.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stembridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Mr. Langham?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Wewell?
Yes.
Mr. Burnell?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Mr. Buck.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have 3 companion cases. The first is case BOA 1786074 with the address of 24 Williams Avenue. Next, we have case BOA 1786086 with the address of 26 Williams Avenue. And the third case is case BOA 1786077 with the address of 28 Williams Avenue. If the applicant and or their representative are present, would they please explain the cases to the board?
Thank you, Mr. Stembridge. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Gary Webster. I am the president of Taj Development Company, LLC, with a business address of 49 Mather Street, Unit 2 in Dorchester. I'm here representing the homeowners, Winslow Marshall and Samuel Deshane, who own the property and currently reside at 26 Williams Ave. The intent of this project is to subdivide the existing lot, which is a generously large lot in Hyde Park, approximately 19,000 square foot lot. And they're going to subdivide the existing lot and create 2 new 2-family homes on the frontage of Williams Ave, which will be 24 and 28 Williams Ave. I'm joined by the team from Hierarchy, who will go over the design elements as they relate to the zoning violations, and we'll be happy to answer any questions at the conclusion of the presentation. If you can go back to the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Jonah Manigat. I'm the architect working on this project with Gary and the homeowners. I think Gary did a great job explaining the basic tenets of the project. As stated, it is a very large lot of 19,000 square feet, and what we are proposing right now is subdividing it into potentially 3 different lots. The existing building, which is 26 William Street, will remain, and as you can see in this rendering, is the building that appears smaller in the image in the back, and we are proposing to subdivide it, adding 2 separate lots. One that would be on the left, that would become 24 William Street, and then on the right of it, another lot for 28 William Street. So essentially what we're proposing are twin 2-family buildings that will be basically the same floor plans. That, of course, on the exterior we'll bring some elements that will have to make them look a little separate from each other. And then and we are proposing to parking spaces, provide parking and green space on the lot. If you can just scroll up a little bit, you can see this sheet here is showing the existing lot on the left-hand side where you have the existing 2-family, and then on the right you can see the proposed subdivision with the 2 proposed new subdivided lots. If you scroll up a little bit more, again, if you don't mind, and this is basically the zoning sheet that where we list all the violations where we're asking for some relief on. Basically, we are asking for relief on most of the zoning requirements, except maybe for 28 William Street, where we feel like the FAR ratio will not be needed. If you go scroll up again, and this is kind of a larger view of the actual site plan that shows all 3 buildings. You can see the 26 William Street, we see it in the background, and the 2 new proposed buildings, 24 and 28 in the foreground. If you can go scroll up a little bit more, this is kind of a zoomed in version of 24 William Street. You can see how the building sits on the site. We are providing spaces for 2 tenant parking spaces and green space in the back. And if you scroll up, the next page, you can see a similar situation for 28 William Street. We're also providing 2 parking spaces. Of course, there will be a shared driveway on this end that will go along with to provide access to the 26 William Street parking, to the existing parking area for 26 William Street. The next pages, I think, we talk about the floor plans. And again, this is your typical 2-family that we used to in the city of Boston. We are providing an open space on the ground floor with 3 bedrooms, kitchen, living, and dining area. And that will be repeated on the second floor as well. There will be a basement, and then and you'll see here is maybe potential access for solar panels on the roof. I'm not sure that will be done at the time of construction, but at least they'll be ready for that. And basically, I think that's you can see the elevations. For 20, I think this elevation will be kind of similar on both buildings again. But after we go through the BPDA potential review, we'll find some elements that can distinguish the 2 buildings one from another. And I think that's all we have for our presentation. And if you have any questions, we are ready to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board?
Yes, could you please go back to page number 7? Yes, that one. So this is 28 Williams, and I'm looking at the parking in the driveway, and just wondering if there is a better way to improve the configuration of the parking to increase open space. I mean, I think more than half of the, like probably 70% of the open space you have is covered in pavement in parking. So just a suggestion, if there is anything that your architect or your designer can do to improve the open space configuration. Have you thought about this?
Yeah, there are potential ways we may be able to reduce the amount of pavement on this side, maybe having the parking be a little bit more, be tandem instead of having them side by side, as we do have on 24 William Street. That will probably reduce the number of paving on the site. The actual driveway itself is a little bit generous, drive aisle, so we can probably reduce that a little bit. But again, maybe potentially making the building slightly smaller, but there are plenty of ways. Of course, this will be permeable surfaces for the driveway themselves, and so you're correct. There are potential ways that we can actually provide more green space on these sites, and that will be part of the design review process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, with the Office of Neighborhood Services, this applicant has completed the process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on November 3rd, where an abutter raised concerns about increased density, about a loss of green space, and a loss of a pine tree. Abutters were also concerned about any potential effects on parking on the street, which they said was tight currently, and on increase in density. Our office received 2 letters of support that have been forwarded to the board. With that background, further judgment is deferred to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Is there someone named Sue who's wanting to raise your hand? Can you raise your hand if you want to speak on this matter?
Hi, yes. I'm with my mother, Judy Burke, the property owner, so I'll let her speak.
Okay, if you can just identify yourself and your address, and please let us know if you're in support or opposition.
Okay, my name is Judy Burke. I'm at 22 Williams Avenue in Hyde Park. I do want to address something that they keep referring to Williams Street. There is no Williams Street in Hyde Park. It is Williams Avenue. And I strongly oppose the proposed construction and subdivision concerning 24 Williams Ave, 26 and 28 Williams Ave. The amount of relief sought speaks to how significantly this will change the dynamics of the neighborhood. This project will drastically reduce the amount of parking on the street. I and many of the neighbors do not have driveways and rely on street parking to access our residences. The curb cut will take away at least one vital parking spot in addition to spots used by any resident of the proposed dwellings that park on the street. Adding two family dwellings will result in overcrowding. The dwellings are too large for the space. Additionally, there isn't a sufficient side yard setback, which directly affects my property. The project also eliminates green space in the neighborhood and reduces the amount of sunlight on neighboring properties. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other raised hands?
Madam Chair, we don't have additional hands raised at the moment.
Okay. would the applicant like to briefly address those concerns?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think one of the things we try to be very careful of is understanding the need for parking that is often raised in a lot of the committee meetings that we've attended. We are proposing one curb cut and taking advantage of an existing curb cut. So there may be an effect of one curb cut on the neighborhood, but we're also providing parking spaces for the post buildings. So in terms, so we feel that we're addressing that in the best way that we can. As far as the green space concern, we're talking about a very large lot, over 19,000 square feet. And if you look at it in the neighborhood currently, most of the lots are much smaller than that, in the neighborhood of between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet. And we are proposing to subdivide the lot into similar size lots. And the buildings that we are proposing really in terms of size and scale are comparable to all the buildings that you'll see up and down the street. And this is a really I would feel an elegant way of addressing the need for additional housing that is in dire need all over the city. We are not proposing to multiple family buildings or like apartment buildings. We are proposing smaller two-family that are really in keeping with the character of the feel of the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
May I have a motion?
Oh, can we have just a clarification?
Sure. Are there other questions?
Yeah, I noticed. Oh, I see what Mr. Valencia was kind of noting to, where the access to the middle property at the rear is actually through 28. So, right, because it needs to go all the way to the garage at the rear.
That's correct. Yes. So
yeah. So that you're right, Mr. Valencia. That's a lot of pavement, surface pavement, to provide that access. Okay, I just wanted to understand that, because on your survey plot plan, it doesn't show really clearly that kind of what is green space versus.
Yeah, I think we may be showing that on the architectural site plan, but of course this will not be asphalt. It will be permeable surfaces.
Yeah, and so then the other, on your survey plot plan, although you said only one proposed curb cut is being proposed, I see two proposed curb cut, one for 28 and the other one is for 24. Although we're basically, Madam Chair, are we putting a motion for both cases or just for 28?
Well, Mr. Stembridge read all three companion cases into
So we're doing all three at once?
Correct.
Okay. So if it's okay with my colleagues, and feel free if you want to add another kind of proviso, but I would suggest a motion of approval with a proviso that BPD reviews the site plan of vehicle access to all three properties with an intention of increasing open space and avoiding front yard parking.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stembridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Mr. Langham?
Yes.
Ms. Better-Brazzo?
Yes.
Ms. Wewell?
Yes.
Mr. Brunel?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
So since we are a 7-member board, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That means he got it?
Oh. Okay, so before the rediscussion, can we go back and vote on that extension now that we have sufficient board members?
We certainly can, Madam Chair.
Great,
so
thank you.
We're returning to the extension schedule for 9:30 a.m. The first case is case BOA 153-6698 with the address of 1208C VFW Parkway.
So those who are going to
I'm
abstain.
recusing myself.
Recuse.
I need to recuse myself too.
Okay, great. So now we're a 5-member board. Is there a motion?
We'll make a motion. Motion of approval, Madam Chair?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Stembridge?
Yes.
Mr. Langham?
Yes.
Ms. Better-Brazza?
Yes.
Ms. Wewell?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
So with that, we will go forward to the rediscussion case scheduled for 9:30 a.m. I'll ask if there'll be any request for withdrawals of deferral. Hearing none, we'll move on with case BOA 173-3319 with the address of 22 Pratt Street. This is also an Article 80 case. So if the applicant and or the representative are present, will they please explain the case to the board?
Good morning. For the record, Chris Rainier from Goulston and Stores with an address of 1 Post Office Square in Boston. I'm here on behalf of the developer this morning, and I have with me Matt McCollum from the developer, as well as James Gray and Mark Whiteside, architects at Stantec, with any if there's any questions. With that, I will run through the presentation and happy to take questions. We're here this morning to reaffirm and supplement previously issued zoning relief for a multifamily project at 22 to 24 Pratt Street in the Alston neighborhood. This shows the project. Next slide, please. The project consists of approximately 318 units of multifamily housing with significant affordability, about 54 units. Significant open space, as well as other benefits outlined on this slide, including all electric building systems and a modern energy efficient building design. Next slide, please. The project site is outlined in yellow here. It's in a regularly shaped lot with older, underutilized industrial buildings. The project site is a split zoning lot. I'll come back to that. The site only has narrow access to Pratt Street and slopes down from Pratt Street and is primarily bordered by train tracks to the north, the Alston Green multifamily project to the west and south, and other properties. Next slide, please. These are some pictures showing what is on the site currently. Next slide, please. Prior to the original appeal, the project's design was modified in response to comments received during the review process, including those from its abutter at the Alston Green project, which on this slide is to the left and to the south, or to the bottom. The project was approved by BCDC and the BPDA after completing large project review, and the project zoning relief is consistent with other projects in the neighborhood, and its relief is less than that granted for the abutting Alston Green project. At its hearing on October 28th, after a detailed presentation on the project, the board voted to grant zoning relief for the project. At that hearing, the applicant submitted a letter of support from its largest abutter, the LBC, which is the owner and proponent of the Alston Green project, together with a letter of non-opposition from Alston Village Main Streets. The Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services and the Alston Civic Association spoke in support of the project, and there was no opposition voiced. Subsequent to the hearing, but before finalizing the decision, the applicant and ISD realized the project needs one additional item of zoning relief, a variance to allow the access drive to and from Pratt Street to be utilized for multifamily use. As I mentioned, the zoning lot, the lot is in a split zoning district. So the driveway is in the 2F 5000 subdistrict. The previously issued variance for the project for multifamily use was for the remainder of the site, which is in the LI1 subdistrict where the building is located. The applicant has submitted the supplemental appeal to request the board reaffirm the previously issued zoning relief for the project and approve a variance for the multifamily dwelling use in the 2F 5000 subdistrict in respect of the project's access, which is outlined in red on this slide. No changes have been made to the project, and this request does not seek to modify the previously issued zoning relief. Thank you. With that, that's the remainder of our presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, is there public testimony?
Madam Chair, members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This application underwent a Boston Planning Department-led community process with public meetings in fall of 2023 and 2024. There was also an impact advisory group meeting held in 2024. The Alston Civic Association is aware of this application. They have met with the applicant, represents an administrative cleanup of previously approved relief. That background, our office defers further judgment to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Okay, with that, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Mr. Langham?
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza?
Yes.
Ms. Wewell?
Yes.
Mr. Burnell?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, I'll see everyone back at 11:30.
Recording stop.